Hello. Today I'm going to do a quick video on QZ Tray and how to set up your label printer so that if you want to print shipping labels from your website, you can do that. It really speeds up the process. You will need, well, everyone has to have an Easy Post account to do address validation and whatnot, but you will need a shipping account with UPS, FedEx, or the post office. If you're shipping ammo, then you'll need FedEx or UPS, as well as the post office if you want to use the post office for firearms, which a lot of people do because they're the cheapest, especially for handguns. So the first thing you'd want to do, if you don't have a label printer, you'll need one. This is the label printer that I use. It's a really good printer. The printer that you get has to be able to print 4-inch wide by 6-inch tall labels. You can pre-order. You can order the labels, the label paper. It has to be thermal paper for a thermal printer. Those are nice because you don't ever have to change ink or whatever. It's just like the receipts you get at the grocery store or whatnot. It's just it's on a shipping label size piece of paper, 4x6. That's the standard. This one's kind of pricey. It's a a heavy duty commercial grade printer. A lot of the printers you see at various stores and whatnot use Zebra printers. They have different printers. This is a particularly good printer. We have at least one customer that uses the Dymo label writer. He says it works great. Again, it prints 4x6 labels. That's the minimum. That's what you have to have for shipping. This one is, not quite half as much as the Zebra. I can't tell you how long it'll last or how good it's made or anything about them. I have a Dymo label writer, but I don't use, it's not this particular one. It's a different one that I use for price tags and stuff like that. But QZ Tray will work with both of them. I can only attest to this. Now, if you're on Windows, you shouldn't have any problems setting either one of these up. If you're on a Mac, it's a little trickier. If you have a Mac, you're probably used to things being tricky. There's instructions at Zebra's website on how to do that. I don't know what you have to do for the Dymo on a Mac. I'm on a Mac. In my office, in my store, I have a Windows machine, but I don't know the ins and outs of installing the Dymo on a Mac, so I don't have any good information for you there. Okay, so once you've got your label printer, and you don't need it. I mean, okay, when you go to any page that wants to use QZ Tray, meaning any page that needs access to the printer, if you don't have QZ Tray installed, it might, let me quit QZ Tray here. It might give you an error right here. Unable to establish connection with QZ. Make sure QZ Tray is running. So if you don't want to do printing, if you just want to get rid of this error every time you go to a page that wants to use printer configurations, just come over here to QZ Tray, click that. It'll give you a link to Mac or Windows. Download, you can install it and run it, and then that'll just make that go away, and you don't have to worry about it. It puts a little green icon down in your system tray down by your computer's clock. Kind of looks like a little green label printer, and it just sits there. It really does nothing. So if you just wanted to use it to get rid of that annoying error message every time, then that's fine too. Now I'm going to fire it back up here. And once it's running, then when you come to a page that wants QZ Tray, you won't get that error. Well, it just made a liar out of me. I guess I didn't have it running properly. There we go. Now it's gone away. So if you're going to want to print labels, the first thing you're going to want to do is come down here to printer configuration under site settings. And since you've never, there's some good information here. I'm not going to read this to you. You can read it, but click here to add a new configuration. Now, right now, the only thing you can do is print shipping labels. I've set this up so that maybe in the future we might be able to do mailing labels or maybe price tags, or I don't know yet. I always anticipate the need, so I write the code in a way that will facilitate other uses. But right now, the only thing you can use this for is shipping labels. So give it a friendly name. Mine's a zebra, so I'll say zebra 4x6 labels. The paper width is 4, the paper height is 6. This is real important. Now here you pick your printer. All right, and here's my printer. Without QZ tray, you won't get this list. It interfaces with your system, gets the list of printers, which is something that browsers really aren't good at from within a web page. Obviously, you can go to your browser, go up to File, and go to print settings or whatever, or properties. But that's for printing web pages. That's not for sending data directly to the printer from within your website. You got to have QZ tray to do this. All right, so I'm going to pick my printer. Used for right now, the only thing is shipping labels, but you have to choose it. And you click Save. And there it is. Now, this is kind of important. This is not stored on the server. This is not stored anywhere on the server. This configuration that you just did is stored in your browser, not just on your computer, in the browser. So if you're using Chrome and then you fire up Firefox, it's not going to be set up. You got to do this again in Firefox. The reason being, these settings really only pertain to the machine and the browser that you're printing from. So saving these on the server would do you no good. You couldn't save these settings and then go to a different computer, or to, you couldn't save these settings from your office and then go to your home and pull it up and use it. It has to be the printer, the operating system, and the browser that you're printing from. So these are stored in your browser. If you reinstall Windows, if you delete your browser and reinstall it, you'll probably have to do this again. Okay, so now any page that wants to interface with QZ tray, a printer status will show up over here. All right. The only reason this is up is because we're on the printer configuration. Obviously, it needs QZ tray for that, but it doesn't need a printer. This is just where you set your configurations. When you go to, for example, orders, okay, notice it went away, but as soon as you click on to edit an order, and my development server wants to be slow, notice it comes back. Now I have the printer here, okay? When you're on your order edit screen, it automatically pulls up the shipping label configuration that we just did. If I ever have another screen for mailing labels, you'd have to set up a printer configuration for mailing labels, and then that would show, here, but we don't have that yet. I don't know if we ever will. So this tells you what, printer you've configured for printing labels. If QZ tray is not active, this will say inactive or something like that. Let me deactivate it here and we'll see what it says. And I'm going to refresh and I'll get the error up here, I'm sure. My development server is slow. Can't establish the connection, and notice it says inactive. All right, it still knows what printer we want because that's stored on the browser. So if you see that, you don't have to go down to your start menu or whatever. You can probably just come over here and click this little icon. It's going to say this will look different for your computer, but this is how it looks on my Mac. And I'm going to say yes, let it run, and it's going to launch it. And then you might have to refresh your page. Now it says active and it tells you the version. the error goes away. Okay, that's all you need to do to set up QZ Tray to work with your label printer. You can, if you're in testing mode, you can go to any order and create a package and test print a label. It should spit it right out. Make sure your printer's on. Make sure everything's good in that regards, and it should spit the label right out. If it doesn't, make sure obviously that the printer's hooked up. I mean, all of this stuff. If your printer's not hooked to your computer, or it isn't recognized by your computer, it's not gonna show up here. See, I got to refresh or something. Oh, you know what? That probably only works for new configurations. I'll delete that and then come up for new configurations. So, and that might be a bug. I might need to take a look at that. So if your printer is not hooked up and properly communicating with your computer, it's probably not going to show up in this list. I mean, if it shows up here, you're probably got everything hooked up right. So, I hope I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. 4, 6. Save. That might be a bug. Nope, there it is. Just a fluke on that first one. So yeah, there you go. If you have any questions, let me know. Remember, I've just put up the forums. You can post your questions in there. There's a QZ Tray forum over there. And I'm going to get this video put online, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you.